So the other day we did dividing decimals by whole numbers. So today we're going to try dividing decimals by decimals. Now this is a little bit trickier to set up, but once you get the setup, it's not too bad. So if you remember from the other day, the first number always goes on the inside of the division, no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's bigger or smaller or a whole number or a decimal. The first number goes on the inside, and that's called the divisor. The dividend, sorry. And then the divisor is the second number that goes on the outside. So now when you go to set it up, there's one step that you have to do which sets up your problem. And then after you've set it up, it's just like dividing decimals by whole numbers. So here's what that step is. If you have a decimal on the outside number, so on the divisor, you have to get rid of it. And here's how you do that. You move it to the right until it's at the end of the number. So in this case, it will take me just one loop to get it to the end of the number. And now it's just going to be a 14. Okay, now the thing is, and this is the step that you can't forget, because I moved this decimal one loop to the right, I have to do the same amount of loops to the right on the inside. So that means one loop to the right because I only did one loop on the outside. So this now looks like 182. Decimal point is now at the end. And then if you want, you could put a 0 just so it looks like a normal number. Now we have exactly what we did the other day. We have a decimal divided by a whole number, so nothing really is different. You bring the decimal point straight up and do regular division. So 14 goes into 1 0 times. So I'll put the 0 as my placeholder. Subtract, I get 1. Bring down the next digit. 14 goes into 18 one time. So I get 14. I'll subtract, I get 4. Bring down the next digit, which is a 2. And now 14 goes into 42 exactly 3 times. I'm just going to move this a second because it's kind of in the way. All right, so that goes in exactly 3 times. We get 42. And then you can bring down the last digit, which is a 0. So if I just bring down that last digit, 14 goes into 0 times. So I get 13.0, or in this case, you can just write 13. If it's a 0.0, you don't really need that part. Okay, so let me try the next one. The first number goes on the inside no matter what. So the 0.273 is going to go on the inside. Okay, second number is going to go on the outside. That's the divisor. So think about it. How many spots, how many loops would you have to draw to get that decimal to the end? So that should be 2 loops. So because I did it 2 loops on the outside, I have to do 2 loops on the inside, starting where that decimal point is. So the decimal point's here. I'm going to go 2 loops to the right. Now it's between the 7 and the 3. So I'm going to rewrite it. So now my inside number, that looks bad, looks like 27.3. Okay, the 0 that's in front, you don't really need that anymore. So you can just get rid of that. Just pretend it's 27.3. The outside number is now going to be 39. Okay, so now we just have a decimal divided by a whole number. So bring the decimal point straight up, do regular division. 39 cannot go into 2. It goes in 0 times. So I'm going to subtract, and I get the 2. Bring down the next digit. 39 also can't go into 27 because it's too big, so it goes in 0 times as well. Subtract, I get 27. Bring down the next digit. So now I have 39 into 273, which actually goes in exactly 7 times. So I get 273, subtract, I get a 0, so I'm all done. The decimal came straight up. So 0.7, when you write your final answer, you don't need to put 0.7, you can just put 0.7. So the first number goes on the inside no matter what. Second number goes on the outside no matter what. If that outside number, if that divisor has a decimal, you need to move it to the right to get rid of it. However many loops it takes, you have to do the same amount of loops on the inside, and then you're ready to go. Okay, so let's try some for you. So I'm going to have you try these just to help you get set up. So for this one, you want to do 68.4 on the inside. Okay, and then your 5.7 is going to go on the outside. Think of how many loops it's going to take to get rid of that decimal. It has to go to the very end. So that's going to take 1 loop, which means 1 loop on the inside. So over here, I'm going to rewrite the problem. Now I have 684. The decimal point is now at the end, so I'm just going to put a point and a 0 so it looks like a normal number. Divided by, and now 57, or 5.7 is just 57. So the whole point is to get rid of the decimal. So now you have a decimal divided by a whole number. So bring your decimal point straight up, divide like normal. So finish, I started that one for you, so finish it up and then try B as well. So there's different types where you end up having to like sometimes add zeros and decimals. So let's give this one a shot. So again, first number is going to go on the inside. So 2.45 will be on the inside. Dividing it by the outside, the second number, 0.007. So that's my divisor. Now, how many loops is it going to take to get this decimal point to the end? So draw your loops in between the numbers 1, 2, 3. So this is going to become just a 7. That's the whole point, to just make it a whole number. Now, I moved that 3, so I have to move this 3. So 1, 2, 3. What do you think I have to put here as a placeholder? Okay, it should be a 0. So 2,450. And then the decimal point is at the end. And then if you want to add another 0, you can. Now I'm going to bring my decimal point straight up, divide like normal. 7 goes into 2 0 times. Subtract, I get 2. Bring down the next digit. 7 can go into 24 3 times, which is 21. Subtract, I get a 3. Bring down the next digit. 7 goes into 35 5 times, which is 35. Subtract, I get a 0. Now, I still have a number here, so I can't just end my division. So I have to bring down the other 0, even though it's a 0. 7 goes into 0 0 times. Subtract, you get a 0. Bring down this last 0, and 7 goes into 0 again 0 times. So now that I have 350.0, I can just write 350. I don't really need the 0.0. But see how this 0 totally mattered because it's a placeholder. That's the ones place value, so you have to put that 0. All right, so let me see if I can give you one of these to try. Okay, so you're going to pause and try this one. Remember, your first number is always your dividend, so that should go on the inside. And the 0.004 should go on the outside. However many loops it takes to get rid of this decimal point when it's on the outside, do the same amount of loops on the inside. If you run out of numbers, you need to use 0 as a placeholder. Okay, so see if you could try that last one.